What's going on, lads? It's Billy the Kid here, and I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for joining me for today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the very basics of getting used to the Ground Forces expansion pack for War Thunder. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up your first match with the tanks of War Thunder, customizing your tanks with different emblems and different paint jobs, and trying to explain the importance of updating your crews and modifying your tanks loadout in terms of ammunition, etc, etc. So let's get on with today's video. So the first thing you're going to notice when you've updated War Thunder to patch 1.41 is the fact that you're now able to use tanks, obviously. Now, how do you get the tanks? It's very easy. Click on your research tab, and at the top of the left hand corner of the research tab, you'll notice there's now an army tab next to the aviation tab that you will always have. This is my aviation tab for the Germans, and like I said in the other War Thunder video, the Ground Forces expansion pack so far is only available for the German and the Soviet trees. It's not available. See, if I go onto the American tree, there is no army tab, there is no Ground Forces expansion pack yet available for the Americans, the British, or the Japanese. It's only available for the Germans and the Soviets. So how do you access your first tank on War Thunder? If I remember right, it's the Panzer II that's going to be your first tank. It's going to be the only one that is available to you. And yeah, actually I'm right, because it says reserve. So when you're starting off as the Germans or the Soviets, let me just check the Soviets, you're going to have the T-26 reserve tank, and if you're going to be starting off as the Germans, you will have the reserve tank. So click on your research tab, click on the army tab, and then click on the reserve Panzer II tab if you're going to start off as the Germans, or the T-26 as the Soviets. Now at the bottom of the research tree, not the research tree, but your vehicle selection tree, you'll have probably all your planes there. So what you're going to have to do is take your tank and put it into a slot at the bottom. And it won't mess up with your plane's crew, so don't worry about that. So I've already had my Panzer II in the first slot, and what I'm going to do now is just go over very quickly the basics of setting up your tank for the first match. What you'll have to do is very simple. Just head over to the right hand side there. You'll notice now there's an air battle tab and a tank battle tab, and very simply you can't excuse me, you can't select the maps. You'll just select the first server it can get you into. Just select tank battles and choose your game mode. There's arcade battles, realistic battles, and simulator battles. Now I'll go over the 3 different game modes in another video, because I'm not gonna, there's certain differences in terms of the gameplay aspect and the points that you can get in terms of those aspects, so I'll cover those in another video. But if you're into, you know, arcade battles, go ahead and click arcade battles and then just hit to battle, and it'll get you into the nearest server that you can access. Right now the current server for me is RU, so I don't know why it's put me into RU servers. EU servers are the ones you should be going into if you're from Europe, but like I said, you can select the different servers according to where you're living. So it's US, SA, I'm guessing South America, or Russia. Or you can click any available as well. That way it'll decrease the time to get into a match. And that's how you get into your first War Thunder match. But let's go over very quickly some customization skills. Not skills, but customization options. You can paint your tanks basically in War Thunder to be a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? Somebody put it into the comment section. A little bit more bollocks to it. A bit different than anybody else. I'm thinking of a word, but I can't fucking use it. Me and my fucking words. Anyway, you can paint your tank with all sorts of emblems. Like, you unlock them as you get a higher rank in the game. So this is your rank number 13. That's what the your basic rank is, not the ranks of your tanks. I'll get into that in a little minute. But like I said, you have loads of options here to customize your tank. You can have victory marks. So just for example, let's head down to world flags and look for Ireland, and it's got literally all the world's flags. So if you're from Afghanistan, you can put on that one. If you're from Albania, etc, etc. Now you might think that's Ireland. It's not. It's Côte d'Ivoire. God, my language. It's Ivory Coast, if I'm not mistaken. So no, it looks like Ireland flag, but it's basically reversed. This is the Ireland flag. So whenever you have picked your emblem, whatever it may be, you just pick it out and you can place it anywhere on the tank. Now, the bottom right hand corner will show you the different controls. You can hit F to flip it. So now it's Cote d'Ivoire or Ireland. And hitting T will put it on the opposite side of the tank. So if I put the flag there, and is it shift and mouse? Yeah, shift and mouse. The mouse wheel will change the size of it. So I'll just put the flag there. If I hit T, it's now double-sided, so it's going to appear at the front as well. So that's a little bit interesting. You can do that with all the other emblems as well. If you don't have a premium account, you can only put two emblems on, two decals. So I'll just put in, you know what, I'll just put in another Ireland flag, just trying to speed this along. Because I'm so Irish. Gotta love your nation's flag. Anyway, let me just see. There. So that's pretty simple. You know, you can just customize your tank to be a bit more, god damn it, what is that word? To be a bit more iconic, I guess. Be a bit more different than everybody else's tank, because most times than not, I see tanks just no customization whatsoever. Kind of makes it a little bit more bland. It's a bit more interesting to have different tanks with different emblems and paint jobs. Up here you'll see camouflage, and you'll have to buy these different camouflages. Not buy them, but use golden eagles to purchase them. Now, sometimes you will get awarded golden eagles to perform certain tasks and assignments, such as doing the training mission for the tanks. You get 100 golden eagles just to do training for the tanks. So if you haven't ever tried out with the tanks yet, I encourage you to do the training mission just for the golden eagles and just to get used to the controls for the tanks. So that is just pretty much the customization options right here. I mean, you have some more options here. Camouflage scale, but there's very, very subtle differences. It's not until you buy the customization or the camouflages skins, like winter camouflage, it'll like this. But like I said, it's 200 eagles, so we haven't got that. I'm surprised it actually switched it. That's probably just to show you what it would look like if you wanted to get it. But that pretty much covers the customization skins for your tank. And down at the bottom you can have information, which is not available right now. Information just gives you information about the tank's history, etc, etc. Weaponry, this you can customize that as well, but that's not really where you want to customize it. I'll show you where you want to customize your weapon loadout and all that. And down at the bottom you'll have test drive, where you can go out and test drive your tank and get used to the controls, etc, etc. Now that we've covered the customization options for your tank, let's go over the loadout. Now this won't be very important for you if it's your first tank, and like a reserve tank, if it's your first time playing with the tanks, because you won't have anything unlocked for modifications. So this is the modification I have for my Panzer II, but keep in mind that I have completely unlocked nearly everything for my Panzer II because I was using it a lot, because I'm playing a lot of War Thunder Ground expansion. But up in the top right hand corner, or not top left hand corner, you'll just have Panzer II Reserve off C, the name of your tank, whatever it may be. You'll have backup vehicle. You can purchase a backup vehicle for 10 golden eagles. This means by default you have 3 out of 3 reserve tanks. So you have 3 Panzer II tanks in your game. If you lost all 3, but excuse me, what am I doing? If you lost all 3 tanks in the game, you could have another tank, so that's 4. So it's 4 out of 4, but you really don't want to buy that, really. It's just kind of waste of money. Not waste of money, but waste of golden eagles. You can purchase more golden eagles for real money, which is what a lot of people have a problem with. You can then basically convert those golden eagles to rank up more fast. But there's a big drawback to that, because you're not using the tanks, you're not getting used to them, you're just ranking up, so you're not gaining any skill. So that's the downside of doing that. Purchase talisman. Talisman will gain you another extra 100% points in your game, but like I said, it costs 80 golden eagles, and it's only available to that particular vehicle. It's only available to that particular tank. Now, once you've unlocked some stuff for your tank, wherever it may be, it'll show up here, and you can customize your loadout before heading into battle, or you can actually customize it when you're at the spawn screen at the start of your match. But just for explaining, I'll show you what it's all about. So here it is, your main gun. Your offensive armament is here. It'll tell you what it is. In this case, it's 20mm quack. I like to call it quack 30 cannon. It's not exactly a big massive tank gun. It's just more of a, if you think of the Bradley infantry fighting vehicle in modern day, it's pretty much the same thing. It's a 20mm cannon, so it won't do a lot of damage to heavier tanks, but it'll do the job when you're starting off as the Germans, or I should say, as the Germans. The ammunition is here. All your ammunition is here. So for your main gun, for this case, like I said, it's a 20mm cannon. It's got the default, the 20mm cannon filled with HEFI-T shells and the API-T shells. Now, all of this doesn't mean anything to you for the first time because, like I said, you won't have anything unlocked. But let me go over very quickly what all of this means. Down here, you'll see API-T, armor piercing incendiary tracer shell. It'll actually just give you an explanation what it is. HEFI-T is high explosive fragmentation incendiary tracer shell, and project mass, all that sort of stuff. But here's where it gets important. The muzzle velocity is 900 meters a second, and it'll tell you what the armor penetration is. So at 10 meters, it'll penetrate 31 millimeters of armor. Each shot will penetrate 31 millimeters of armor, and then at the bottom, it's 2,000 meters. At 2,000 meters, if you see an enemy tank at 2,000 meters and you fire, it's only going to penetrate, if it hits them, 5 millimeters of armor, which is not very much. So you're going to have to launch loads of shots to get even a destroyed tank, which by then he'll probably see you and shoot you. So the closer you are to your enemy, the higher the penetration of each round. And as you progress, you will unlock more ammunition. So in this case, it's the HEFI-T shells, and they don't change. The muzzle velocity won't change. It's 900 meters a second, and for some reason it's not showing up the penetration. But like I said, this is, I believe it's a 20mm gun, so it's not really a tank gun. It's just more of an auto cannon. And down at the, as you progress, you'll unlock more ammunition. Here is a 20mm cannon shacked with HVAP-T shells, which is high velocity armor piercing tracer shells. And this, when you compare it to the default ammunition you get with your Panzer II, if we head down to the bottom, it says at 10 meters it'll penetrate each shot 50 meters of armor, which is very good when you compare it to the 31 meters you get at 10 meters. So once you unlock the best shell for your tank, you want to use that one because it'll get you the most penetration, and it'll increase the chances that when you fire your tank's round, it'll hit the enemy tank, penetrate the most armor, and do a critical hit, like it set off its fuel in the engine, it'll catch fire, it might blow the turret off the tank, just insta-kill him. So that's pretty much all you want to learn about ammunition. This is all you need to keep in mind. The muzzle velocity, which is very important. The higher the muzzle velocity, the more damage it'll do when it hits, and the armor penetration. So keep in mind when you're firing on an enemy tank, how far is he from you, because it'll tell you when you're looking at the enemy tank, it'll show up a little number how far he is from you. So you need to keep in mind, well, he's 2,000 meters away, there's no point in starting to shoot him because it's not going to do really anything. So that's pretty much the basic overview of the ammunition. You have all your other parts here. You'll have your mobility parts, so you get better tracks, which they just basically don't take as much damage. They give you better traction when you're moving. Suspension, brake systems, filters, transmissions, engine. Everything is pretty self-explanatory. You can just even highlight each and every part. There is, as you progress, like I said, you will unlock more and more of these. The more you use the tank, the more you will unlock it. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Let me just see if I've missed anything. Modifications, crew. Yes, let's talk about the crew very quickly, because a lot of people seem to have problems with understanding what the crew is. So if you have, you've probably played War Thunder before, so you know what crew is. But just in case you don't, you need to imagine that every slot down here, down at the bottom here, say you have like 5 tanks. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just say you have 5 tanks, and you head up to crew. Once you've done a mission, once you've done a battle, you will unlock up here called crew XP points. Now I don't have any excuse me, I don't have any currently for this tank because I haven't used it in a long time. I've used far better tanks. But once you've done a few missions, you'll notice that your crew XP points will go up. Say if you have 100 XP points, let's just say that, and your crew level, whatever it may be, you have different slots at the top here. You have your driver, you have your gunner, you have your tank commander, you have your tank loader, you have your radio operator gunner, and the qualification. Now let's just talk very quickly about each of the crew members of your tank. Each crew member will have the same three different skills. You'll have keen vision, you'll have field repair, and you'll have vitality. And then you'll have certain other skills like tank driving for the driver and targeting and range finding for the gunner, etc. But all of them will have the same three skills at the start of it. Now, keen vision basically means the distance that you can see where the enemy is. So if you once you've unlocked some points, you can increase the skill, and this will tell you how much it'll cost. So if I had like 10 points, if I increase the skill by another 1, it'll only cost me 1. I'll bring it up to 5, and then, for example, let me just show you very quickly. If I'll choose, let me choose a Panzer IV. Where's my Panzer IV? Panzer IV F2, choose a crew. There, I had it there originally. As you can see, I've unlocked quite a few tanks. Nearly getting to the mighty Tiger. Hopefully soon. But anyway, let's get back to the crews. So this is my Panzer IV F2. If I head to my crew, I still have no... Alright, so it doesn't really matter. But you can see what I've done. So keen vision basically means how far you can see the enemy tank. Sometimes he won't show up until you're looking right at him. Sometimes he will, show up miles away. So the more you have in keen vision is your visibility. Basically means it increases your visual range to see the enemy. Field repair. Now, when you take damage in your tank, you can have an option to repair your tank. Sometimes your track will get blown off, and you'll have to hit U to start repairing your tank. But the thing is, it's gonna take a long time for you to repair a track. It might take you up to a minute. So if you're fighting an enemy very close, there's no point in starting to repair a tank if he's standing right in front of you, blasting you. But in the end, if you increase your field repair, it'll decrease the time that it takes to repair your tank, like your tracks. It'll decrease that. Vitality. Vitality means the health of your different crew members. So for this example, it's for the driver, and then you have one for the gunner, tank commander, etc. For all the different crew members, you have these three separate skills, and vitality means your crew members' health. Sometimes when your tank takes damage, depending on the location of the round hitting, maybe your tank commander got wounded, your tank gunner gets wounded. Many times your tank gunner will get wounded and he won't be able to fire, and he'll come back to his senses in around 8 seconds. But in those 8 seconds you can take another 2 or 3 rounds and you could be destroyed very easily. So the higher the vitality, the much more resistant your crew members are to enemy fire, and the speed of their recovery is increased. And that is basically the first 3 skills explained for each of the separate crew members of your tank. And like I said before I go on, each tank has separate skills. So just because you increase the crew, vitality on your Panzer II doesn't mean it's going to get carried on to, say, onto your Panzer IV. Every crew is separate, so all the different crew skills are separate in terms of the rank up, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. But let me just go over very quickly. Targeting for the gunner basically means the targeting speed and the accuracy. It's increased if you increase that, and range finding, precision of target range finding affects long range fire accuracy. Basically, this is all self-explanatory. If you level up, you'll see the effects fairly soon. One thing I will mention though is the fact that you'll see here the other little gun there, the machine gun. If I just put on the Panzer IV, it's much more noticeable. You'll notice that the Panzer IV, for example, has 2 machine guns. It's got one in the bow, it's got one next to the main gun, the coax machine gun. Now, the machine guns, they are not available right now for the Ground Forces expansion pack. I'm pretty sure, because I haven't been able to access them, I haven't been able to use them in combat, And I can guarantee probably the reason because there is no enemies, there is no enemy infantry in the game yet, I guess. So there's no reason to have the machine guns. So when you're looking at your crew members, for example, the tank commander, the radio operator, there's no real reason yet to upgrade your machine gunnery or your bow machine gun fire, your bow machine gun reloading, because there is no machine guns in the game yet for the tanks. So I wouldn't upgrade them yet. So you can save yourself some crew XP points and instead put them to keen vision, radio communication, weapon reloading. Weapon reloading is a big one if you're getting into like tier 3 tanks like the actually I haven't got a tier 3 tank yet, like the Panzer 3 Offs M or the Tiger H1, or not H1, Offs H1. The reloading will obviously, the more points you put into the gunner's reloading decreases the reload time. So it's all pretty self-explanatory. Let me just see, what else was I going to cover? Crew. I've covered crew, I've covered modifications, change vehicle. I think that's pretty much all there is to it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to it. So that's all I have for you today, lads. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want to know any other information regarding War Thunder Ground Forces expansion pack. It's all pretty self-explanatory. So that's all you have to do. Once you get your tanks, you could just head to battle, rake up some kills, put some points to your crew, improve your crews, and you will soon start to excel on the battlefields of War Thunder Ground Forces expansion packs. So lads, once again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I will have another one regarding the different game modes for you soon, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like, leave your feedback in the comment section down below, subscribe for more if you're new, and I'll see you again, lads, and thank you again for watching.